Well, g'day people, it's Wednesday the 12th of March 2025 and you can see a timestamp down in the bottom left hand corner of the video. We're currently outside Optus Stadium and we're having a look at this detour that's been set up for some works on the other side of the bridge on the principal shared path. So you can see a bunch of signage along here. Interestingly enough, see that, what do you call it, sawhorse or something? It's now blocking off the path there. That wasn't like that on Monday, it was open. So that's another inconsistency that I've noticed. I don't know why it's open some days and closed on others, but it is. Okay, this signage here has been consistent. Now when we come up to the bridge here, last week there was a sign right in front of me, pointing me to the left. There's nothing here this week. Now, I think that sign's completely superfluous. And I would agree it could be removed from the plan without impacting on the detour or the quality. But obviously that can only be done if that's signed off by someone who's accredited and all that kind of stuff to update a traffic management plan. Now, similarly at the other end of the bridge last week, there was a left turn arrow. Again, that's superfluous because there's nowhere else to go apart from through that locked door. But was the traffic management plan amended and approved by an appropriately authorised person, or did someone just decide off their own bat, to hell with it, we're just not going to put that up this week? And that comes down to, well, to me, quality is following the plans and the processes and the procedures properly. Okay, signage there's good, all consistent. That's the same as last week and it works. Similarly, down the bottom here at the T-junction, that's the same as last week. It's good, it works. Because with these, with the traffic management plans, you should expect the as-built plan to match the design plan, and I don't have access to the design. All I can show you is the as-built. Someone like Main Roads would need to come down and pull the original designs and see what they're supposed to look like. Now you can see that sign is blocked up until here. If a ride-through had been done, that would have come up. The signage on the side path is good and the path is well blocked off. I'm not going to stop and show it to you. You can look at an earlier video if you want to know what it looks like. And the signage up here telling me to turn left. It's clear, it's visible from a long way off, and again it's consistent week to week. Now this detour only goes for another week, apparently. So I guess next Monday we'll have an opportunity to see what the next layout looks like, to see whether it matches the original one or whether it's got changes in it. Now up here on my right, you can see there's two parked cars. Now behind that silver grey car, there should be yes, okay, it's there today. That was not there on Monday morning. Similarly, over here, you can see the back end of the sign leaning against the pole. That was not there at about 11 a.m. Monday morning, several hours after the signage went up. It's there today. So, I don't know, maybe someone did a check. Maybe it took a lot longer than expected to lay out all the signage on Monday. Maybe I got them doing it halfway through. Now from here, I can't see any detour signage right now. It's becoming visible. So you can see all these parked cars here outside the Australian Services Union branch. The ones at the end are blocking the detour sign, which is way over there. Now last week, the sign was over here, positioned about here. So there was no chance that sign was going to be blocked as we're coming up the road. Now, that said, if you're coming up the footpath, that sign's probably in a reasonable location, but let's just check it out. And I also get the feeling if you're walking this route and doing the checking, that sign would become visible a long time in front of when you reach the corner. But when you're cycling at say 20 kilometres an hour, no, it's not the case. So can't see it, can't see it. Now I can see it, it's come visible over the bonnet. Last minute. So if that was being checked from a bike like this, you'd see that's an issue and the sign should go back over the road like it was originally, or just duplicate it. Put the same sign on the other side of the road, so you've got two signs rather than one. Now this sign here, it's consistent, hasn't moved, and it's good. You can see it from way back at the other intersection. The thing I like about this is as you go around one corner, following the signage, you can see the next sign up ahead, and that's why I like those intermediate signs back there, which just point you straight ahead, because as you can't from this road down to the river, it's too far to actually see the signs down at the riverbank. But with that intermediate signage, you can in fact see it. Oh, it takes a while to get across this road. And from across here, I'm not too bothered because that's the PSP and I don't need a sign to tell me where I'm going. Okay, that's it's one direction. We'll come back and do the other in a minute. Right, part two on the East Perth PSP detour. So from well back here, from back past that sign, I can see the variable message sign up ahead. Stage 2, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. PSP closure, 7th of February to the 19th of March. Stage 1 and 3, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Oh, right. Don't know. Anyway, from the variable message sign, it's clear that the tunnel is blocked. They've got one of those barricades across it. That's what it's called. And footpath closed, etc., etc. Detour signage and so forth. Let me just... Hello. I think you're missing a sign up there at the road crossing. Yeah. So when you're coming south from Bayswater, there's nothing to tell you to turn left and cross the road.
Okay, did it fall down or anything?
No, there's a sign on this side telling you to turn right.
Okay.
But it should be double-sided.
Oh, okay.
It's only single-sided.
Okay, thanks.
So that's why people keep coming down here and turning around. Okay. Well, she said she will let them know, whoever them is. And I guess I'll come back on Thursday or Friday and see whether things have been amended. All right, from here I can see a straight ahead sign, or a straight ahead arrow, or an up arrow. That's good. Clearly visible from a long way back, and even from here I can see, well, it's now blocked by the back of that variable message sign, but from back there I could see the sign I was talking about. It's telling me to turn right, but now this week it's on the left hand side of the path. Last week it was on the right. On the right it was very clear. On the left, the bottom path is blocked by the vegetation until we get to here. Now, let me just come up here a little bit and just double check that I'm not making an idiot of myself by telling her the sign. Nope, look at that. So this is what I'm saying. There should be a sign here telling me to turn left. That should be double-sided. And if that was going to happen, there'd need to be actually a sign back here somewhere. So even if they did double-side that, where it's located now would be wrong, because it's too, the sign would be past where I need to turn. Okay, signage here is good. Up here, turn left detour, yep, that's good. It even says cyclists, woohoo! But for some, I don't know why they've got tape over under cyclists. Oh, dismount. Righto. That's nice. They've taped out the dismount directive. I like that. Right, now, coming along here, can we see anything telling us to keep going straight ahead? because one option would be to turn left at this intersection, because there's no maps telling you where to go. Okay, sign there says straight ahead, that's fine. And down the bottom of the hill at the T-junction, the turn right sign is very clearly visible as well. Again, that's consistent. That was like that last week. So some parts of this, or in fact most of it, it's quite good, and the consistency is there. Like the signage is well placed, it's large, it's good. It's just let down in a couple of areas. But like with lots of processes and that operate off plans, you've got to follow the plan to the letter, and you've got to follow the process to the letter as well. So, if the plan says, for instance, that there are supposed to be signs at every location that I've pointed out where there's not signs, then the plan is not being followed. And if there's a process that says someone has to do a walk around afterwards with a checklist and tick off that every sign is in place. That, for instance, I would have thought a process would be, we create the traffic management plan, that automatically creates a picking list, so it tells you what signs you need to pick up, put in the back of the truck. By the way, that sign's visible, that's good. When you get on site, it's also generated a list of locations where the signs need to go. So you go out and lay out the signs, and then once it's all done, the next part of the process is the inspection to make sure that the as-built matches the plan. And you have, like I said, a checklist that you walk around with a clipboard going, yep, this sign, yeah, it's an arrow, it's pointing in the right direction, it's in the right place, it's in the right kind of frame, tick. We come around the corner here, oh, there's supposed to be a right turn sign at the end of the bridge. Oh, it's missing, cross. And obviously, the next part of the process is everything that's got a cross against it needs to be fixed. And what do you then do with the paperwork? Well, you save it and you file it away. So if this has to be done every single day, then at the end of the week there should be, maybe a morning checklist and an afternoon checklist, 10 checklists on file, who did it, signed, time it was carried out. And what you'd hope to see is if the morning checklist had half a dozen X's on it, the evening checklist, all those would be ticked off as being correct. And then it would stay that way for the life of the project. But if the processes aren't being followed, then again the whole thing falls over. There needs to be checks. Now, on top of that, someone, supervisor, manager needs to be coming out and then checking the paperwork, checking the staff are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Are they properly trained? Do they actually know they have to do this? Okay, there's another missing sign there. Well, I won't say missing, I'll say there's another inconsistency there. That sign's well placed, that's well placed. Yeah, by inconsistency I mean there was a sign there last week and it's not there this week. Now today I'm going to take this branch of the path, and lo and behold, down the bottom there's again, oh okay, that's a bit, see what I mean now? A check should have picked that up. See, there's the sign down the bottom there telling me to turn left, and there's the signs up the pole there telling me to go through that barricade and down that path there. So I'm guessing someone just needs to rotate that sign through 90 degrees and it'll be fine. But if no one's coming out and checking it, it's going to remain like that. So if I come back tomorrow, I'll have a look at that particular sign and see if someone has fixed it. Look, it could just be some peanut walking past, half an hour ago, who's done that and just decided, I'm going to fool with this, and it's not going to be picked up until the next inspection. But if it's like that tomorrow at this time, it would mean there's no inspections are taking place, or if they are taking place, well, what the hell is happening? All right, what are we up to? That's 8.5 minutes on the phone. It's probably a lot shorter, but I guess that shows just how quickly you can do an inspection like that by just riding through on a bike. And I think you can also see there's a gap between the plan that the traffic managers are coming out with, the engineers or whoever, and the as-built that the traffic management implementers, the TMIs, are actually putting out. And I question the quality of the inspections, reviews, checks and audits. In fact, I question whether they're taking place at all. So I guess there's a challenge there for main roads. You know, how do they make sure that the traffic control companies that they're contracting and certifying are actually following the guides and standards properly? And the way to do that is main roads needs to audit them. Now, that could mean coming out to a site like this, asking to see the accreditations of the staff. You know, have they all been properly trained by a nationally recognised trainer? Are their cards up to date, or their qualifications? I don't know what they have, a white card, green card, something or other, for the roles they're actually performing. Is the traffic management plan adequate? Now, as a complete amateur who just has to use these things, I would say the plan is adequate unless it's missing that road crossing sign that we saw on the other side over at East Perth. Now, if that sign is missing from the plan, I'd be asking why, because clearly without that sign the whole thing just falls in a heap. You know, it's the old story of you go and get your wheels changed and they forget to do it, the wheel nuts on one wheel, and your wheel falls off. You know, detours like that. Every sign has to be in place, or the detour doesn't work. You know, with that detour, it's supposed to get me from over there to over here. Fails to do that because the sign's missing. And there's no map to tell me I'm going the wrong way. So anyway, if I was, again, the main roads auditor, that's the first thing I'd question. Then I'd go through and I'd check the as-built signage to see if it matches what's on the plan. And then I'd note all the discrepancies. And then I'd ask to see the checklists or reviews or whatever the hell they're using, site condition reports or something, to see that they're being properly filled in, and they're being filled in on the cadence they're supposed to. So there should be something in the plan to say how often those checklists should be filled out. Do they do it on Monday at midday after they put out the signage and that's it for the week? Are they supposed to do it 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, before they knock off? If so, are they all being done? Are they being done properly? Or is it just a tick a box exercise and they're just, sitting in the ute, filling out the paperwork, ticking all the boxes, then going, yeah, that'll do. Don't have to worry about filling these out properly because no one ever checks them. Well, someone needs to go and check them to ensure they do get checked. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good start. And then you ask the questions, well, why is it that this... All right, stumbled into another detour. Now, why is this here? Okay, I get the path is shut for some reason, but why is the path closed there and we're then sent across the grass to here, and then where are we going? Now, I presume we're turning left, but again, there seems to be a pretty obvious flaw in the traffic management plan here, that cyclists should not be riding across the grass. It's okay when the weather's dry, but when it's wet, you get bogged and all sorts of other stuff. So what I would have done, if it was me, the complete amateur versus the professionals, I would have had some warning signage back here, even back further, and I'd be saying, path closed ahead for cyclists, detour here, and there'll be a sign pointing me right off here, Now obviously they've left it open so people can get to that outdoor gym, which is good. But I'd have some signage along here pointing me in this direction and telling me where to go. And I'll probably put some cones over those bollards to make them a bit more obvious. And all right, traffic management person who drew that plan up, where am I going now? Now you might say, oh, it's bloody obvious, you just go straight ahead. Well, is it? Oh, I should have turned left back there, it's absolutely bleeding obvious. Is it? I could have turned right, I could have gone anywhere. It could be, you know, the school gates could be open, I could be riding through there, I don't know. Am I supposed to be on the footpath? This is not a good place to be at 3 o'clock when school finishes and 1,000 kids come pouring out of there and want to be picked up. So in that case, I'd probably want to be on the road. Okay. Now where am I going? Am I turning left down this street, or am I going straight ahead? Got to say the signage that the City of Perth has put up is really good. Anyway, I digress. Right, let's just take a wild guess, because there's no map and there's no signage, and we'll turn left and we'll just hug the edge of the school and see where this takes us. And I'll also look for the detour on the other side. I mean, you know, being detoured is a fact of life. That's fine, you know, works have got to be done, but you know, at least make them easy to use and safe and all the rest of it. Okay, no idea where I'm going now. I know I can turn left. No signage anywhere. Oh look, I just completely missed the shared path over there. Okay, I'll just stick to this path and try not to run off it because it's a little bit narrow. I don't want to cross the sand and have to clean all that muck out of my chain when I get home. So we'll rejoin the path down the bottom here, and I'm going to assume that the detour is over. Oh, look at that. So the path is closed there as well. Cool, okay, footpath closed. Is there any detour signage in the other direction? Okay. Are you putting up any signage around the detour? Are you putting up any signage around where the detour goes?
There's signs on the other side.
No, there's no sign. There is a sign to tell you it's closed.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it, pedestrian detour or?
No, there's no signs to tell you where you're actually going.
Along the back? Oh,
Yeah, it's just a wild guess.
People?
Oh no, you just have to guess where to go, that's all. You know, rather than actually have something to follow.
Too easy, mate.
All right. Not sure he completely understood what I meant, but that was Overwatch Traffic Services. No idea how long the detour is going for. Maybe, well, if I come down here tomorrow, I'll see if it's still in place and see if any signage has been put out. But, you know, there's 2 people on the ground so far today that have told me they're going to report these issues to, well, I guess up through their chain of command. I guess we'll see whether anything happens. And I guess that's something else that Main Roads could look at, is what happens to all the reports of non-conformance or whatever. You know, if people on the ground, if the staff, if the implementers are being told there's issues, or if they're spotting issues themselves and they're reporting them, is anything actually being done? Are any plans being amended? And can they show any evidence of that ever happening? Because, you know, clearly there are problems with these sites. And, you know, like with anything, you know, changes often need to be made because, hey, nobody's perfect. You can't predict things perfectly. you can have a good stab at it. And I think if you get one of these traffic plans, 95% right, you've done really well. But that still leaves 5% that needs cleaning up. And that's where that reporting or that feedback comes in. There's 5% of it's wrong. We've found it. This is how we're going to fix it. To just assume that, it's all perfect, there's no problems, I think that's a pretty crazy assumption to make. Okay, I think that'll do.